Hey everyone, it's Brenda and Mary. Back again. I jumped in there. Usually you do the hellos.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
like, come on.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome to another show. We thought we'd do another one on house clearing because since we talked about house clearing like a while ago, you've gotten so busy with it. And I
Yeah.
think people are getting it done and they're noticing a difference and then they're telling their friends. And like you're almost getting to a point where you have to do a wait list.
Yeah, but if there's an urgent problem, I
Yeah,
usually will make sure we
make
do
time.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, for
The house clearings take about 2 hours. Now, the caveat is it's best to leave the home and take your pets out of the home because pets that stay in the home can feel very agitated during it.
hmm
We do sometimes keep pets in the home. We put them in protection, but we separate the pets. But a lot of people, there's one family that they had to leave their cats there, so they had them in separate rooms. But as they were leaving the house, the cats started acting very strange because the dark energy in the home, this one was a pretty heavy house, knew that it was going to be cleansed and it was causing a bit of havoc.
wow.
Now, let's take a house that people don't know there's negativity in there, but they feel it, but they don't understand it.
Yeah.
And they're looking for a house cleaning or house clearing. It's not, I don't clean your house, I clear it. And some people say, oh, sorry about the mess.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to trip over the stuff. I'm not coming into your home
You're
physically.
doing this from a
That's
distance.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of different examples, but I've worked on one recently in Texas.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I was gonna say tell the one in Texas.
and like I'm in Toronto or not outside of Toronto in the GTA. So when I get into this, I'm in front of the home. I have the address obviously. We have permission to do the work and then I go into the home and when I'm in the home there's something like it's home has its own feel to it.
hmm
Sometimes the home is more welcoming, and sometimes I'm being screamed at, get the heck out of this home. Like, we don't
Wow.
want you here. So sometimes I get very cold, and I'm like, okay, you know what? We're coming in regardless. We're
hmm
going to reset this. Now, the reason these house clearings are getting so strong
hmm
is because we are in a new energy on planet Earth. Like, this is the beauty of where we are on planet Earth. So, we have something that holds records called the crystalline grid.
hmm
I'm going to give an example before we get into the house because I've said this before, I'm sure. But let's say a knife was used in an act of murder.
hmm
A knife is just a neutral thing. It's used to cook,
Yeah.
but this particular knife was used in murder. The molecular structure, the memory of this knife holds murder. It's like the knife craves murder. I know it sounds
So it's
weird.
got like an energy of its
And
own.
that's right. Right.
Okay.
And it's not neutral anymore. It's craving no murder. Now, let's say somebody who has an inclination to cause murder holds this knife. That knife is going to give them a desire. They might act on it.
hmm
Now, is that going to be held in the court? The knife made me do it? No, but this is kind of how it works. So let's go bring that kind of like little bit of information into a home.
hmm
You buy a new home, and previous owners fought a lot. It has arguments in the house. There's
Yeah.
frustration. There's all this stuff. The walls remember. The walls crave the same negativity. All right. The problem, kind of just the way it is love, joy, happiness
hmm
somehow kind of get overrid by negativity.
Yeah.
So you have a house that's all pleasant and everything. Something happens, let's say something bad happens in the house, that then can cause a house to become haunted house.
hmm
Right? So there's haunted, I'm trying to, clear some haunted houses
Yeah.
nowadays. And what happens, I'm not trying to get them to let me do it because I
Yeah.
can feel how heavy they are, right?
Yeah.
So now when we do the work, and it's not me that does the work per se, these beings of light come in and I see them working. They're doing stuff that I can't understand, but in essence they are going to the molecular level of the home, right from the soil that it's on
Yeah.
to the foundation of the home,
Yeah.
the basement floors, the walls, the nails, the wood, every building material, the exterior, the interior. And they're breaking it down, doing their thing, and really cleansing it from any negativity,
Yeah.
keeping the love, the joy, the high frequency.
Yeah.
It is a process. It takes a while. So we start with the land, we do this, then we do the interior, we do the clothes, we do the furniture. And while I'm there, while we're there. I don't see how the house is messy. I don't see walls per se. It's more like I'm seeing areas. So there's some areas that are darker than others areas. So I
Yeah.
was in this one house where the master bathroom was freezing in there. I don't know what happened in there. I don't have all the details, but it felt so dark and cold. Well, while we were clearing, there was an entity in there. Now, entities can be shadow beings, which are very
Yeah.
common. We can pick those up going out into the store or whatever, bring them home, we're in a bad mood. Then there's higher level entities like demonic beings that are really causing the house to like fight, this, that. So after I cleared that house, I had some questions to the owner, and if you are interested in hearing the story of your house, I will give it to you. Some people don't want the details, and I just have them focus that the house is full of love, joy, it's a new frequency, and they'll go in and feel that stillness. But this particular family was interested, and when I explained to them what they found, there was something in the cellar downstairs, the basement was very creepy. We cleared all that out. They're not they're feeling very different in the basement now.
Yeah.
But that one particular bathroom felt always very cold in it, and they didn't know why because they had extra insulation, they had extra heating, but they couldn't warm it up. When there are beings like entities that are not nice, they can give that cold feeling.
Yeah.
So in essence, when the person comes back, we cleared the land. Sometimes as we're clearing the land, because there's lost souls there, we are actually guided to clear the entire neighborhood of the land.
Yeah.
And we clear the house pretty well when I say to the client, go into your new home. It is a new home that is now supporting you, not going against you.
And you only have to do it once, right? Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
like-
I want to hear more stories.
Okay, yeah.
I'm kind of curious about
Yeah,
some of the things you find.
So sometimes there was one house, the one in Texas, where the land, like I didn't know this area in Texas. I just go in, I don't do research. And the land had so much, this whole neighborhood was built on like a battlefield, and I was seeing like Native, I guess, American Indians, but then I was seeing like Western fighting and this disregard for life and this, it's just like, I had no idea what I was saying. So there's a lot of death and destruction on the land. Then this house, it felt so dark. There was so many demonic beings in it. And this client was waking up with scratches on her and not
Oh my
understanding
God.
why. And when she told her friends, they all thought she was crazy. But she was right. She had a lot of scary things in her house.
Gosh, that's like some of
And-
those shows on TV, and you
Yeah.
kind of think, oh, this is all like make believe. I don't believe this.
Yeah, it's real, and we cleared all that, and the whole difference in that house, it just was love and light afterwards. Another house after I cleared, and they had some pretty nasty stuff too. And people just live. I go, how do people live in that?
Can I ask, like, the more of these you do, are you getting stronger? Are you getting better at it? Because your stories are getting a bit scarier.
Not
Is that
scarier.
not
It's
scarier? Just they seem more
I
shocking.
think I'm
maybe
just
scarier to me. I don't know.
I'm sharing more.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sharing more.
Okay.
I have lots of scary stories. I just
Okay.
never tell people because I know people like the stories. They
Yeah.
tell me more. I'm like, really? You want to know?
Yeah.
It's amazing. I'll give you another one. There was a one that had black magic. The house, all in the walls, had this black veiny spider webbing. And it was attracting dark things. This house was so dark. I said, how are people living in there?
Wow.
Now, when they look at the house looks airy and whatever. But when you're in it, the energy of the house is dense, and the walls are screaming for fighting or injury or stress and anxiety. So you can't feel good.
Wow. So are you getting reports after you clean a house that people are feeling better?
Yeah, so I usually say, okay, go in your home, report back. And it's so cute because people say, it's like there's a stillness, but they'll also say there's a smell. Now, I'm going to give away my little secret. What I've done and we're done, what we do is we go through and we add the scents of flowers, sometimes lavender, sometimes vanilla, sometimes sandalwood. But one time I decided I just feel like this house needs lavender, vanilla, and sandalwood. And the funny thing is, like, we came in the house, we went in every room that we didn't like. It feels so light, but we're smelling like flowers, like lavender, and
Oh,
there's like an incense
like the
smell.
people who own the house actually
Yeah.
smelled it. Like that's
And then they're
something.
like, oh my God, how is that possible? You weren't here.
Yeah.
And I was like, we're dealing with energy, we're dealing with intention, we're dealing with love, we're dealing with a powerful energy here.
So it's a
So,
completely different way of looking at the world and thinking about
yeah,
the world.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's no limitation. Now, the neat thing is that house now is vibrating higher. Now, it's the frequency of love. So when you go into the home and you have this like good disposition, you're going to keep that good disposition because your house is now working with you. It wants more love. It
Yeah.
wants more peace. It wants more harmony.
Yeah.
Before, it wanted arguments, fights. So even though you felt good, you and your husband walk in the room, you start arguing.
Yeah.
Well, the people that that bathroom, they couldn't explain why it was so cold, so dense. They knew the casino was scary because they felt this entity in there,
Yeah.
which is now gone. In my vision, I could see them running to the basement, and running out. And now I said, you know what? Your whole house is just vibrating so high.
Wow.
It's a one-time thing because we're going to the crystalline grid. Normal stuff that happens, like look at my house. I've done that deep clearing once. I don't need to do it, but those entities that leave people,
Yeah.
that's like a superficial, it's easier cleaning. I don't have to
Yeah.
go down to that crystalline grid
Yeah.
because nothing really bad happens in the house.
Yeah.
Right? There's no arguments or anything like that, or fights, or even bigger things.
Gosh,
right?
you could be your own reality show. What do you think, people?
But then I wouldn't have
Let
time
us know
to
if you
work.
think so.
I'm so like I talk a lot, right? Because I have
Wow.
a lot of explaining to do.
It's a
and,
lot
and
of stuff in there that
Yeah.
you keep to yourself and
Yeah.
you don't tell your stories and so I appreciate that you tell them for people to learn. And if you're interested in getting your house cleaned, give Brenda a call and you can go on this little journey with her and hear about some of the things that may be going on in your home.
And what I found lately is, regardless of how bad the home is, or sometimes they're not as bad, I've been charging the same amount. It is a 2-hour process regardless, and the stories behind there come with that. Then there's my cleaning or whatever. It's a big process. I know I can charge more, but I believe getting people into a safe house where they can like really relax is so important, and we all deserve that.
Well,
place
because
to
if they
call
do all
home.
the healing on themselves and then go into like a unhealthy house, like what the
Yeah.
heck is going to happen?
Yeah.
So there it is. Brenda's been healing people all her life, and now she's healing homes. So if you're interested in this, give her a call. www.sobrilliant.ca.
Thanks.
Thanks, Brenda.